Hello everybody, welcome to Hungary for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and here is the grid. George Russell is on pole for Mercedes. Max Verstappen gets up onto the front row in second place. Lewis Hamilton just falling short for that front row, but he starts in third, and Sergioperez is in fourth. So much improved from Red Bull in terms of their qualifying pace. Remember, Ferrari were ahead of them last time, but not this time. Still got to work on that reliability, of course. But there is a lot of news about what is to happen for next season, which we have to cover. Lando Norris staying at McLaren next year. That has been announced. It's been in the pipeline for a while. Ferrari, that was the big question. What was going to happen to Charles Leclerc's seat? Ferrari, they had talks with George Russell, talks with Fernando Alonso about a return, but Ferrari have gone for youth. They have signed the young Australian driver Oscar Piastri, who has been Alpine's reserve. Piastri to partner Carlos Sainz next season, so that's an interesting one. However, Mercedes, they were waiting on George Russell, who was waiting on that Ferrari seat, and perhaps George should have had a couple of good years with Mercedes, because basically Mercedes got tired of waiting for George, and they have gone and picked up the contract of Charles Leclerc. So Charles Leclerc moving to Mercedes, George Russell currently without a seat. There are seats still available, but all in the lower half of the grid. So perhaps an own goal from George Russell there. Nico Hülkenberg remains with AlphaTauri. Bottas and Alonso. Alonso, I think, saw the writing on the wall that George Russell could try for an Alpine seat. So Alonso, as soon as the Ferrari seat was gone, moved to shore that up. George Russell looking for a drive. But the ironic thing, he has won as many races as anybody this season, and he starts on pole position. So Russell here then, looking to defend from Max Verstappen as they go down to turn one. We know that Red Bull opening lap pace has been fierce, and they're really good at their starts. Russell trying to defend from Max Verstappen, because for now he is very much a Mercedes driver, but Verstappen is getting the run, and Max Verstappen, a good start again, and this time it results in the race lead. George Russell has to tuck in a second place. Sergioperez, he has also got ahead of Mercedes. He has passed Lewis Hamilton. So not a great start for Mercedes here at all, unfortunately, and Perez is already applying pressure to Russell. Well, absolutely flying pace from Red Bull right at the start of this race, and George is trying to get back up to Max Verstappen a bit now, but Perez is still there. So George Russell in a real Red Bull sandwich at the moment. What can he do? Remember, still hope for the World Championship this year for Mercedes. They closed in quite significantly after the French Grand Prix with Red Bull's terrible weekend there, and George Russell and Lewis Hamilton both still well within a couple of wins of Max Verstappen, and that does indicate that there is a chance if things go away. And there goes, look, that's Kevin Magnussen going down the inside of Esteban Ocon. So great move from Magnussen, and George Russell is applying pressure to Max Verstappen now. So Red Bull were quick at the start of the race, but Russell now has found where he needs to be in that car, and he is coming for a look back at Verstappen, and Hamilton also having a look at Perez. So if Red Bull were the quickest at the start of the race, they're certainly not quickest now. Russell doesn't quite get through on Verstappen, but Hamilton does pass Perez. Russell still got a chance though as they come down to turn 3, and George Russell will switch to the inside, but Max Verstappen ruthlessly cutting him off. They're leaving room though, and George Russell is still alongside, but Max now closes the door, and George Russell has to settle for second place. Lewis Hamilton still in there in third. There is a lot that could happen in this Hungarian Grand Prix yet. This race is far, far, far from decided, but it's all about Red Bull and Mercedes, as one might expect. We haven't even mentioned Charles Leclerc, very poor qualifying. He was in 14th, he's moved up a little bit. We're going to have a look at him now. I think possibly Gasly up into 8th, he was good again. And Leclerc in 11th, pushing for that final point. Have a look at Daniel Ricciardo, he'll run on the outside, bit of dust kicked up by someone ahead of them there. Leclerc will try that move for sure. And there goes Russell again, having another look at Max Verstappen. Again, it's not come off yet, but he will hold on to hope, because there is still a lap to go. Mercedes just need to make sure that they don't let Perez through. If they're not going to beat Max, they need to ensure that they are at least second and third in this Grand Prix. But Max Verstappen is still the leader right now. And they come into the final lap, and Max still holding on. George Russell trying to have a look, but he's a bit further back this time, and yeah, that's quite easy for Max to head him off there really. Lewis Hamilton hasn't really made any inroads towards the front two. He's still just holding position ahead of Sergio Perez, maybe just letting his teammate focus, because for Mercedes to be in the battle, they've got to be in the battle, and that means not letting team orders affect what they are trying to do as a team. And George Russell continues to track on the wheel tracks of Max Verstappen, but he's running out of time now. There's only just over half a lap to go, and Russell knows that if he's going to do something, he needs to do it soon, because the second half of the circuit is really difficult to overtake. George has a look, but whoa, he's stopped. George Russell stops, and Hamilton's into him. Oh no, are they both out? What a nightmare. Perez goes through, Sainz goes through, and Hamilton has lost his front wing. It's a shame that occurred in a place where we couldn't really see what was happening. But George Russell, I think he had an issue. I think the car broke down, and then Hamilton just ran into him, and Hamilton has now got to fend off some vultures behind him. He's got still a while to go before they get to the checkered flag, and Alonso is there trying to find a way past Hamilton, but Gasly is trying to have a look through. They have a little bump. If Gasly finds his way through, well, Hamilton trying to fend off his former teammate, and Gasly takes full advantage to go around the outside, and there's so much going on here that we haven't even watched to see Max Verstappen cross the line. We know he has, and there he is, the race winner, Max Verstappen. He has won the Grand Prix, but Gasly is through, and I think Bottas did get through, but he's now broken down. What a shame for Valtteri Bottas, because another solid weekend for Alfa Romeo, and they will, but they haven't. Well, Bottas I think takes a point, but Alfa, remember, got ahead of McLaren in the Constructors' Championship, and McLaren were actually a bit stronger this weekend, but Lando Norris went out early, and whenever Lando qualifies reasonably well recently, he always seems to have a mechanical issue that holds him back. Daniel Ricciardo didn't have any issues. I think he has taken a couple of points, but for Alfa Romeo, they clearly outperformed McLaren again, and Bottas breaking down right on the line. What a massive shame that is, because that would have been further away from McLaren for Alfa Romeo, and it's still one of the places Bottas has confirmed, Joe hasn't. It's probably the most competitive seat George Russell could now try to get for next year. But talking about George, what a disappointing end to that race for George Russell and for Mercedes. That was an absolute nightmare scenario. It wasn't even the two drivers taking each other out voluntarily. It was just Russell broke down in front of Hamilton. Hamilton had no time to react. He managed to just drag that car across the line in 5th place, but everything they gained, and it seems to be the way in the last few races, is that Red Bull will pull out an advantage, and then Mercedes will gain it back, and then Red Bull will pull it out again. So Mercedes never quite get into within striking distance to have a proper battle with Red Bull. And I think Red Bull have still got the fastest car out there. So when you've not got the fastest car, you need to take your opportunities. And today, Mercedes haven't done that. We know they've got the quickest car in qualifying, but in the race it's a different matter, and they certainly did not capitalise today. A 1-2 for Red Bull then. That is a great way to fight back from their recent issues with reliability. Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez 1-2 in this race. Carlos Sainz 3rd place. Very good from the smooth operator and Ferrari. Pierre Gasly all the way up from, I think it was 11th on the grid to finish 4th. So a fantastic race from him. Very neat and tidy once again. And yeah, Pierre Gasly. Now Nico Hülkenberg's joined the team. They seem to have the expertise they need, the experience to move that car forward. And Gasly in the last 3 races has had 2 very strong point-scoring performances. Lewis Hamilton finishes 5th. Fernando Alonso could not pass his former teammate. He ended up in 6th. That's a shame for Fernando. He should have been 4th, but you know that's what happens. Sometimes you get stuck behind a car, you're in the wrong position, and other drivers pass you, which is what happened to Alonso when Gasly went past him. Ocon, Leclerc, Ricciardo and Bottas. The Drivers' Championship, Verstappen 189, I believe. Perez 167. Russell 138. Hamilton 138. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Take care.